It's been over 10 years since that sad excuse of a live action anime film, Dragon Ball Z Evolution, came out. And since then, no film studio has had the balls to properly make a good live action anime film. But with Demon Slayer's success, that's all about to change. As an avid anime watcher, I've always wondered, like, damn, some of these shows could be so good live action, but why hasn't any film studio taken upon themselves to actually pull through with it and make a good one? And it's literally because the first time they tried to do that shit, it was so bad that no one went near the vicinity of recreating that shit again. That's how bad that movie was. And it's very frustrating, right? Like, one of the problems of why this shit hasn't worked out is the fact that Hollywood is always trying to disrespect the cultural aspect of these anime films, right? Literally, the main point and determining factor of why these anime is so good is because of the Japanese culture. So when you try to Americanize that shit, it's not gonna fucking work, right? So that's the first thing that they need to just drop, okay? Make it as accurate to the original culture as possible and be authentic to that, because that's half the battle. The second thing about that is just the miscasting. I mean, when you have characters that look a certain way and just are viewed differently, it's gonna be hard to find a human that can look like that animated character. It just is, right? So your approach is gonna have to be somewhere where you can make it look realistic but not cartoonish at the same time, right? You have to be very close to how they look in the original source material to where it's not going to feel out of place, right? So casting that first dude as Goku, bro, like, absolutely ass, right? Like, that's the guy you chose to be Goku? Trash. Literally every single live action anime film that I've seen is just buns compared to the real one. Like, don't even flinch anymore when they announce that there's gonna be a live action adaptation of this. And unfortunately, this is a sad thing. Like, the Japanese culture can produce really good animes, but they somehow don't have the technology or the resources to actually make them good with the live action. All the live action that they produced have been absolutely ass. Death Note, Cowboy Bebop, bruh, they're talking about creating a solo leveling. I mean, someone needs to put a stop to that before it gets too far. Someone needs to put a stop to that before it gets too bad, because they're already on a great run with the original series, and to fuck up the one that's going on right now to create something like that, bro, it's gonna be a bad look. So I pray they don't follow through with that. Just the CGI is absolutely trash. They just look extremely low budget, and that's the thing. I believe that to make a solid film, like live action anime film, the budget can't be tiny, bro, because you're gonna try to make shit work that you're trying to do for the sake of it, just because you can't afford to make it better, right? So you're just gonna throw whatever you can afford out there, and that ultimately affects the entire film. So just don't do it at all if you can't afford it. This is why Hollywood has the resources, has the capabilities to create a solid live action anime film, but their battle is just sticking to the source material and having directors, writers who understand the emotional flow and all the best things about the original animes. I want to talk about why the success of Demon Slayer is actually gonna be the turning point of this, right? Demon Slayer just crossed, I think, $650 million in the box office. And it has Hollywood shook, right? It's not even something that was made in-house, and it's completely eradicating all the other movies in the box office. As we all know, where the money goes, that's where everybody flows, right? That's Hollywood is gonna have to really sit down here and think about tapping into the anime market, because that's the wave right now. Like, that's the wave. You know, everyone was talking shit about anime years ago, right? And you know, for all my anime watchers that were getting hated on and were called weird, it's been a long time coming, right? Now you got everyone enjoying anime, really looking into it, because the optics of what they were before seemed childish, weird, or just nerdy, right? And that's why a lot of people were put off to it. But it's another scenario of like, you can't knock it till you try it. Since Demon Slayer did so good, Hollywood is gonna really take this into consideration. Netflix has actually started implementing this into their studio by creating their own films and own anime films. And anime has been one of the biggest parts and categories that they've created, right? They did an amazing job with Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and a bunch of other animes that they produce, right? So they've already got on their wave, and they understood that that's where the trajectory of entertainment is gonna be, anime, right? So when Hollywood finally gets on board and actually starts to show some respect to the anime community, I think it'll be a match made in heaven, because they have the resources to bring it to fruition and actually make it solid, right? They've already learned their lesson with Dragon Ball Z Evolution, right? They've learned from that. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna avoid that at all costs and respect the Japanese culture and adapt these anime shows to live action. These next 5 years are gonna be pivotal for the anime community, okay? We're gonna start seeing a lot more things in the West, you know, producing and developing anime driven entertainment, because it's just a wave now, and I'm here for it. That's just been something that's really been pissing me off, for the fact that, bro, like, the writing is on the wall and you guys aren't doing anything about it, and nothing to capitalize on the success of this community, right? So hopefully the Demon Slayer success has opened their eyes, and we can look forward to seeing some very solid, you know, movies and live action films of, you know, our favorite animes. So a couple of animes that I would love to see live action would be Dragon Ball. I want to see a solid Dragon Ball live action film, right? I want to see them redeem themselves from that bullshit that they made several years ago. Because Dragon Ball is such a huge IP and anime that if you're gonna make a live action, that's the first one you're gonna do, because there's so many plot lines to go off of, right? So getting that right, getting the public perception back on your side with that, is gonna open a whole bunch of doors, right? So Dragon Ball would be fire. Hunter x Hunter would be fire. My Hero Academia would be tough. Those animes that have some type of Western ideology incorporated in there, I feel like is where they should start. Okay, so those are my three, and if they can pull it off, like, we're gonna be eating good, right? I think the superhero film culture has died down. It's just not hitting like it used to. Movies in general just aren't hitting it like they used to, right? So they're gonna have to think of something different to really bring people back to the theaters, and Demon Slayer was proof of that. I mean, if you guys have other recommendations or other animes that you think would be good as a live action and done correctly, let me know in the comments. Appreciate it. Until next time.